So Samadhi is equanimity of your intellect or your buddhi. These different dimensions of Samadhi, different experiences of Samadhi, is it possible through these practices? Well,
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. I am doing my practices for the last 3 years regularly. I have heard a lot about Samadhi experience, and I have a very strong longing to experience such states. Is it possible to experience Samadhi states with Isha practices? If not, what else can be done to experience such states?
Well, let's understand what is Samadhi. Sama means equanimous, Di means buddhi or the intellect. In the very nature of how you are right now, intellect you always understand as a discriminatory process. Its ability to discriminate which is valuable to you. Then if you make it equanimous, what is the point? It is like… intellect should be like a knife. If knife has no sharpness to cut, then what is a knife? This is a logical question. This question is coming from the limited nature of the intellect itself. So this whole dimension of what we are referring to Samadhi comes up because your understanding of the intellect as a cutting instrument and constantly using it like a scalpel to dissect everything, to analyze everything, to make conclusions with that analysis, well, we started with mist. Well, when your intellect is sharp, it gives you a false sense of knowing everything. But it is cutting everything into pieces. As you cut it into more and more minute pieces, you begin to realize that you know less and less. As your knowledge improves, your knowing goes down. This is the world, its education systems, and our idea of learning and knowing is all this, that we think we can cut open everything and know everything. You should try yourself first. At least the problem would end. Instead of cutting open a frog, cutting open a cockroach, cutting open this and that, first you must try this. At least that'll end the problem. So Samadhi is an illogical dimension, a dimension that your intellect cannot perceive. So a question about Samadhi is not appropriate. But what to do 20th century? If I say, no, I'm not going to talk about this, they'll say, oh, I think Sadhguru doesn't know. Well well, that conclusion is going to rid me of all kinds of unnecessary people. But can I answer illogically or logically? No, you must understand this. Language is incapable of illogic. Language is a consequence of logic. Why only human beings have such evolved languages, others are just chattering around a little bit. Of course, now we are also tweeting. There's also chat, isn't it? There's also, like Twitter, there is some… No, I can't talk about that chat because that's banned here, I think. There are some other social media stuff which is called chat or chatter. Hey, this is a good one, huh? You can start a new one called chatter, like Twitter. So, other creatures are only chattering and tweeting and doing something, but we have such evolved language system simply because we have a logic. If there is no logic, there is no language. Language is a product of your logic. You cannot say anything illogical in any language. One language, a few Indian languages have come close to that, where you can try to describe something illogical, but still it's logical. Because when somebody speaks or writes, it has to be logical because the reader is logical. The understanding of language, the whole mechanism in our brain which grasps language is a logical dimension of our existence. So, talking about Samadhi is no good, because the more we talk, we will go round and round, rig, ram, roll, not getting anywhere. But this is why I've been telling you, but well, I'm not complaining about everybody, but somebody came and called me, I'm a YouTube sensation. I've been trying to digest that insult. They said, sir, you are a YouTube sensation. This is a new guy I'm meeting. And he says, you are a YouTube sensation. I thought, okay. I've been trying to process that insult and see how to get back at him, but because now more people have seen me on the YouTube than in real, so I'm a YouTube sensation. But all the stars, film stars and others don't feel insulted. They've become stars. Most people have never seen them in person, they only saw them two-dimensional on the screen, but they've become stars and people have fallen in love with them and a million love affairs are going on. But I'm not looking for a friendship or love affair from anybody, so I feel insulted because I want to zonk them. Yes, because if you… doesn't matter, picture is enough, not a real person, just a picture is enough. If you simply sit with a picture, you will get zonked. When you get zonked, most people got zonked because of alcohol or drug or something, but in a way what happened is, your intellect got fuzzy and you're feeling little samadhi. Oh, people are going to hate this, but let me tell you, because the fundamental process is same. I think it's good you asked me this question because misty mornings are the same thing. Because you cannot see, it's become beautiful. Hello? Only Shankaran Pillai has clarity about these things. Once he came to Isha Yoga Centre in India and he wanted to stay for a few days. And he said, I want a room with the best view. They put him up in the first floor Chitra block because that has supposed to have the best view. Next day he came and screamed at the welcome center. So, I wanted a room with a view, you put me in this damn place. They said, which room is it? Chitra block, number 3. Oh, that is the best view. He said, where is the damn view? The damn mountain is sitting in the way. See, when you cannot see, it's a view, isn't it? It's misty, it's foggy, you cannot see, but it's beautiful. So that is what Samadhi is. You cannot see, so it's beautiful. With intellect you can see, but right now I can see your face, half of it, I mean. That's all right. But if I see deeper into your intestine, into your colon, you're not pretty, whoever you are. So this is the nature of the intellect. Intellect will cut through everything and see what is there. This is important for a diagnosis. But this is not important for aesthetic. This is not important for experience. So Samadhi is a certain dimension of experience where you did not get zonked, but you brought it to a certain level of neutrality. You put your knife in the sheath, let's say, to continue the analogy. You put it in the sheath, now it's harmless. It is not cutting anything. Simply, your experience of life is wonderful. Now these samadhis, for the sake of understanding, classified into 8 different segments. Fundamentally, 2 sections or 2 dimensions. One is savitarka or savikalpa, other is nirvikalpa or nirvitarka. That means one has a certain quality. It has a quality of blissfulness, joy, love. Not love as you know it, not love as blowing, like when I have this I was having an Instagram live with one of the female film stars in India, and like bubbles, all love signs were coming for her, colorful signs. I just looked at this and said, hey, why only you getting so many love signs and nobody's loving me, yeah? No, Sadhguru, I see lot of love signs for you, you are seeing for me, that's how it is. She tried to explain, I said, okay. So, I'm not talking about love means being drawn towards somebody. Sweet, you're dripping sweetness within you. You may have a stoic, stone-like face, but you're dripping sweetness within you. This is one kind of samadhi. This level of samadhi allows you activity. You can function. Nirvikalpa or nirvitarka means it has no quality. Because it says it has no quality, it does not allow action. Because action needs quality. Without some quality attached, you cannot function. This is why people have been talking about goodness, love, this, that, because these are sweet ways to function. If you don't have that sweetness within you, then as you function, you get corroded. See, most people are… let us say you don't have a job, you're a young person, you got qualified brilliantly, but you don't have a job, a great misery. You may be one of the suicide cases. But you got a job, you were on top of the world because you thought you got enhanced by a job. You didn't understand, just something to do, maybe something useful to do for everybody, maybe earns your living, fine, nothing wrong with those things. But you got enhanced because you created this false perception within yourself that you got enhanced because you got something to do. After some time, see, the same job corrodes you. What is it that people are suffering? They're telling me some of the studies in United States, 70% of the Americans hate their job. Not dislike, hate it. I hope you're not them. If you're doing something that you hate, I can imagine what's happening within you. Now Samadhi means there is no love, there is no hate, just sweetness without reason. So you have no love or hate for anything. When you don't have love or hate for anything, you become completely not a vested interest anymore. You have no interest in anything. If you feel like it, you do what you can do. Don't feel like it, sit there. But you must be in that sweetness. You sit in bitterness, you sit in frustration, you sit in laziness. No, no, no. You're bursting with life because that's the nature of Samadhi. You're bursting with life, but equanimous. Equanimous means it has no intention. It's simply there. So when you have no intention and you're feeling absolutely wonderful, you become useful to me. Yes. Because if you have no intention of anything, but you're absolutely sweet, then what's the problem? 24 hours, 7 days of the week, we can do whatever we think is important in the world. If we don't like, one day we can close our eyes and simply sit back. If we think what we're doing is not working, we can just close our eyes and sit back. That's all. Both ways we are fine. So Samadhi is equanimity of your intellect or your buddhi. These different dimensions of Samadhi, different experiences of Samadhi. Is it possible through these practices? Well, you did your Shambhavi, you must understand, though we are talking everything logically, not because I like logic, I think it's just stupid. No. That was not a mistake. It's a blunder because you cannot correct it. But it's a wonderful blunder because I saw the futility of logic a long, long time ago, very early in my life, which solved everything for me. Because intellect gives you a feeling that somewhere you are superior to everything around you. Because dissection, 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 what is good, what is bad, what is superior, what is inferior, what is high, what is low, it just does this. And one day it tells you you are the most superior person in the universe. That day you must know you are part of the mental pandemic. You're already there. So Samadhi means you are out of the pandemic, you are equanimous. Once there is equanimity, every cell in your body will respond, every cell in the body will respond and generate sweetness. Today they're showing you scientific evidence that there are cannabis receptors and our professors from Indiana University, Harvard, Rutgers and Florida University have done an elaborate research, I hope all of you know this, that by doing inner engineering practices, your BDNF is 300% more. Your Anandamaya production is significantly higher. That means you are experiencing Samadhi a little bit. You do your Shambhavi and sit there for those few moments, nothing, but nice. This is Samadhi. Well, your only problem is you may not be able to stay there. That is because you're still smart. I mean, smart means stupid. When you think I'm smart, that means you're stupid. Somebody thinks you're smart, that is okay, it's their opinion. But if you take their opinion seriously, that means you're stupid. So, this process of what we refer to as Samadhi, it can flower like that in one day, or it can gradually grow over a period of time. One day's flowering, little forceful flowering we do, you know. The Bhava Spandana program which is banned right now. We make nearly 90% of the people who are in the program experience some state of samadhi, powerful. This is why that's one program they remember. 90% of the people remember this program always as life-transforming, and another 10% remember for all the back pains and leg pains and whatever else they got. One way or the other it is remembered. Yes. So, in Bhava Spandana, there is a forced samadhi. I'm saying forced because the atmosphere is kept like a pressure cooker. Every kind of grain gets cooked, but some will spill, a few. Usually I would say maybe 2–3% will spill out. Rest, at least they're able to take their pains equanimously, which is samadhi. The pain is always a test, know this. If you can handle pain in an equanimous manner, you're in a good place actually. So, samadhi, can I experience deeper states of samadhi? Well, you have taken the first step. The second step, third step is your choice. But if you want to push, we can push you. You can become very sweet. But if you feel so sweet within you, you wouldn't want to live maybe in a crowded city, because the only reason why you're living there is… This may sound very negative, but I want you to examine this properly, not with your intellect, but just look at it as life. You're living in a city, you're living among people. See, a few million people are in one city concentrated. You think because they've all fallen in love with each other, they can't be away from each other, they're all in one place? No, it's just greed. Greed always means that I must have more than you. How much I have is not the point. Let us say I have $100 in my pocket and all of you are homeless, not eaten for 3 days. I feel like a rich man. Yes or no? But I have $1 billion in my account, but then I came here, everybody has $10 billion. I will feel terrible. This is unfortunate nature of human life. This is intellect, I'm telling you. This is the buddhi that we are trying to neutralize or neutralize does not mean kill it, but to learn to keep it in the sheath and use it only when we need to use it. When you are able to use your intellect only when you need to use it for a certain purpose, rest of the time it is in the sheath, that's good. See, right now, she should use the camera only when she wants to use the camera. But just to make sure she gets the right shot, she's always on the camera. Well, she may not get a good shot, but waiting for that one. Hey, if you can't catch the moving picture So, intellect is like this, because it's sharp, it wants to cut everything that it sees. So you learn to keep it in your sheath, and you only cut when you need to cut, otherwise you keep it in your sheath. If you do this, you are in samadhi. Samadhi does not mean you destroyed your intellect. Samadhi means you are able to use the intellect consciously as it is needed. Those paths which talk about prajna usually talk about lifetimes of work. But samadhi is a quick path, but you feel like a bit of a fool, happy fool. So if you don't mind feeling like a bit of a fool, I want you to understand, to realize that I'm a fool is a very big realization. If you don't mind, then Samadhi is good, because it's quick. There's no question of lifetimes, this life. My concern is this life, because last round for me, so I am not planning next life and next life, there's no such thing. So I'm very 100% clear about it. So it's this life. So Samadhi is definitely the way. Where is this person from? From South Africa? Okay, wherever you are from, it doesn't matter. If you want to experience Samadhi, Shambhavi is good enough. Post-Shambhavi, you simply sit there. Do it meticulously as instructions are, don't do anything else. So this is what Samadhi is about, that you don't use your brilliance, because your brilliance is purely intellectual. Intellectual is not going to work. Samadhi and intellect, no. You must put it away. Not destroy it, but put it away. Put it back in the sheath. A sword will be in best quality if it stays in the sheath most of the time, and only it's pulled out when you need to do something effectively. All the time, if you touch everything that you see with your sword, this will be a blunt nonsense. This is what has happened to people. So, Samadhi is definitely the way. We are for that. And a few of you may even do Mahasamadhi. Don't do it in my presence because I've had plenty